Welcome back to Harper Family Travel Channel, and we are in Bangkok. We made it, and we've actually made it 6 days in Bangkok, and we have had a lot of fun, and we have been navigating the city. So what does a family of 6 do in Bangkok for 6 days? Survive. We made it. We survived the jet lag.
Yeah, that was actually the hardest part of this. Don't you agree?
I feel like it was challenging. There's a 12-hour difference. When we arrived here at 9:45, or maybe it was 10, it was actually 10 a.m. our time. And when we got to our hotel, it was 11 a.m. our time. But then we got to go to sleep.
Yeah.
Since we are still waking up at 4 o'clock in the morning, ready to get out of bed. And so that's just our internal clock. We have a hard time staying up until 8 o'clock at night.
Everyone, the kids included.
And then the twins are up at 4 o'clock. I'm up at 4 o'clock. And so that's kind of our schedule right now. And so we're adjusting to that, but we're making it work. We're trying to do. And so we're up and about and ready to go at 7:30 in the morning usually. So we made it into town, and there's a few fun things that we really got to do. We've done a lot of local stuff, not a lot of touristy stuff. What do you want to start with first?
Well, let's just start with something that just fell just literally across the street from us. We wake up the first morning and there's all of these street vendors just around across the street. And this is just a normal part of the culture here. It's everywhere. There's two main things that's amazing about it, besides for the kids. The kids get to explore with it. We felt very safe.
Yes.
Yeah, and it's been really great.
It's been very.
But they get to see all of the things that we don't know exactly what it is.
Yeah.
And explore, but really the food is delicious.
Yes.
And it's very cost effective. And so we would go every morning, get a drink or something from 7-Eleven, and we would go to this one lady's stall. She would make these rice cakes that were like egg washed.
Yeah. And
these pork sticks.
Sticky rice in these like muffins.
Yeah. And they were like 10 baht a piece.
And at the end of this video, we'll talk about all the pricing.
Yeah, all the price, like what did it cost?
So wait till the end of this video, we'll talk about how much it's kind of costing us to stay here.
Yeah.
But there's food, like we got to this place, we've stayed in 2 places here in Bangkok. And all we have to do is, we're right by the highway. So we thought, I don't know if there's gonna be breakfast anywhere, but we just walk outside and there's always places doing foods. There's omelets right downstairs outside. And what else did we get? Like these donut things, but they're not donuts.
Yeah, and then like these sticky rice with like fried chicken kind of deal. And they were very cost effective and delicious. Like the level of flavors have been on another level.
We've liked almost everything that we've eaten has been so good.
Yeah.
But even if you don't like it, the cost is so little that it's not like we felt like we lost out. It was $1 for that meal. So
and
we'll get another one. It's fine.
Yeah, and so just the exploration with your children, going across the street or going down the street.
They love that.
It's really cool. You'll see things on grills, and you'll see things you're like, what is that, Dad? And I'm like, I don't know.
And you'll see like fish just
on a stick.
On a stick.
The whole thing.
The whole thing.
Yeah. So
or duck or pig.
Yeah.
Where they just leave the whole head on everything on there. Still looks like the animal it used to be.
It's all tasting good, trust me. But
educational.
It's educational. But that's been fun. Like, it's actually been fun. And, moving into that, in the middle of the day, it's been really hot. So we went and started to explore with the train, the Sky Train, getting around. And we went to a couple of malls. You're like, you went to the mall. Guys, this is not like in San Antonio going to the North Point or North Star Mall. North Star, it's nothing like that, guys. It is nothing like that.
It's a whole experience.
It's a whole experience.
Very nice.
You go in, and then when we were talking to our Grab taxi driver, she said that they keep the prices down. So you go to these food courts, and they're freshly made food.
She said they controlled the prices.
They control the prices. So you go and you fill up this card with some money, and then you go, and then they make the food for you. And I've just been like setting the family down and kind of saying, do you want chicken and rice? Do you want noodles? Do you want mango and sticky rice? What do you want? And then I go get it and bring it back. And even that has been a lot of fun.
Jackson loves the mall food, and he's like your food buddy.
Yeah, he's like my food buddy.
he likes to go get the food. He likes to go check out the food.
Yeah.
He likes to explore what kinds of food there are. He likes to educate himself on the food, and he's got this like extra skip in his step, and so it's been adorable because he's just like Jeremy in that way. He's our oldest. He's 13.
You'll see some of these malls, like one of them is called Terminal 21, and it's just different. Each level of the mall is like another city, like you're in the airport city there with a whole theme. And so it's just like that. It's very cool, and
Lots
we've really
of
enjoyed
escalators.
Yes. So that's been great.
Like 10.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe
but even
more.
just getting around on the train, it's been a lot of fun. The most touristy thing we did was there's a river in the middle of Bangkok. We'll put it down there because I'm not going to butcher the name. People use it to just like a road.
Like a canal.
Mm-hmm. And you travel with it. And we got a boat and we did like a 2-hour like kind of ride around, and we saw this massive statue that was gold, and it's you're like, okay guys, that's a little overkill, but for them it was beautiful. It was a feat of engineering.
It was Buddha.
But then they also like did some nice little things, like they got us some bread to feed the catfish that was in the river,
And there was a lot of catfish.
and so the kids were just loving feeding the catfish. And we went around and saw all these sights in the boat, and then we went and saw the palace.
But before that, we stopped at a market.
Yes, thank you.
They called it the floating market. And so they let us stop at this one place on the way to the palace that we were going to go tour. And basically you get off the boat and there's all these, it's not all floating though. I thought
They're all on these little buoys. They're not on like little boats. They have some like that. We didn't go to one like this, but this one was really cool and well laid out.
It was so neat, and it was like, how can you top that market? It was like really, really nice.
Yeah.
It had everything.
All different kinds of fruits maybe you hadn't seen before.
So much fun.
But it was a really cool market. And then we got back on the boat. Like they just said, hey, meet us back in 30 minutes.
We could have stayed in it for another hour.
Yeah, we could have stayed in there for another hour. But it was kind of like getting the feel going around. And so we told them we'd like to stop at the palace, the Royal Palace.
Yes.
And it's like the biggest tourist attraction in Bangkok. Listen, guys, all of this stuff we were able to do with 8 years old children through 13. So that really lets you know kind of the range that we've been able to do this. It's been no problem. Then we went to the Royal Palace.
Yes.
There was tourists from all over the world.
Yeah.
There. I mean, we heard Australian accents and Chinese and Japanese and just, accents we didn't know. And then this random couple was like, hey, can we take your picture? And they had an American accent. Now, I didn't ask them where they were from.
Yeah,
I should have asked
because there's not that many people from America that are over here.
I've watched so much content and read so much content about going to different countries, and everyone says, oh, the people are so nice, right? Well, people are nice. And even the guys who were trying to scam us, look, they have to sleep, and deal with that on their own. And we haven't dealt with it too much, if at all, just that one little time.
Yeah.
And that was the best day we had, was doing that whole boat trip and doing the floating market. And by the Royal Palace, the kids were definitely tired and done.
It was so ornate.
I said ornate like 100 times.
It was ornate.
So
it was beautiful.
But
it really
it was ornate.
It was ornate.
The amount of time that they spend on these buildings is ridiculous. But some of us may not think that's the most fun thing to do.
It was, I personally, me and the kids were kind of done at that point. It was like so exciting to ride the boat over there. We
2-hour
got
boat
to
ride.
go to the market. By the time we got there, we were all tired and thirsty. And when did we eat? Oh, we ate a little bit. We ate a little bit before and a little bit after. And none of us were into it except for Jeremy, and so we were all trying to make it work. But we took pictures, and that was our experience at the palace.
If you're into culture and historical, it is very, very cool. I have never walked through and seen buildings and architecture like this before in my entire life. You can't deny. I mean, the craftsmanship was epic,
beautiful. It was really.
And so, if you're into that, and your kids can handle more than 2 hours, because our boat ride was 2 hours.
Yeah.
Then you should definitely look at it. You might just do it on another day if you're into that stuff. If you're not into that stuff, there's plenty of other things. What we didn't get to do, we didn't get to go to a movie theater where instead of seats, it's these beds where you get your own, like you bring your own snacks. It's like the whole thing is like included. So I was excited about doing that.
The movie theater has a bed.
Yeah.
And snacks.
Yeah. And it's included in your price, which is super cool. So I wanted to do that. Didn't happen. There was like this water park thing across from our hotel. They're rebuilding it, so it didn't happen. It's
totally demolished, and they are under construction.
Yeah.
And so
that didn't happen.
That was very disappointing.
Yeah. There's some. We did a night market. Did not like that. I think we do like night markets. Yeah.
We chose
the wrong one.
That one. We didn't pick the right one.
That one,
it didn't have a lot of options.
Yeah.
And it wasn't very child friendly.
No, it was not child friendly. But there's some other big markets that you can go to. We loved the floating market.
The floating market was a dream.
And the kids loved it too. So you're like, oh, Dad, I want some orange juice. Okay, you get him some orange juice.
Freshly squeezed. Kevin a coconut.
Yeah, just got him a coconut. He wanted a coconut.
He didn't like it.
Yeah. I kept telling him, let's wait. And I kept waiting for like the right price. And he wore me down. So it's fine.
So the hotels that we got, we stayed 3 nights in one hotel and 2 nights in this hotel. Mm-hmm. And they both turned out to be pretty much what we expected. Mm-hmm. When we first came up to it, it was both of them, I would say, it was a little different than what we expected, but we were very comfortable. We are renting 2-bedroom hotels that have beds in the living room as well.
Yeah.
Which is a little crowded for us, but we're used to living for a year in a 2-bedroom anyway, with the same sort of setup. And so we're doing that while we're in here. Bangkok is a little bit more expensive than when we go to things like Hua Hin or anywhere else that has Hua Hin, smaller cities and stuff. And so that's why we're not staying a month here.
We're only doing a week here.
We want to spend some time here, but we don't want to do a monthly stay because we could save $500 a month by going to Hua Hin or Phuket.
Mm-hmm. I think we paid a little over $100 a night for the first one and about $90-something a night for the second hotel. So it wasn't super expensive for having multiple bedrooms in a hotel, but if we were to do that over a month, that would be pretty expensive. Yeah. So
I think the places that we're staying are like, how much are they per night?
I don't know per night, but for the month they're around $1,000.
Yes, for the month they're $1,000.
And that includes utilities and Wi-Fi and things like that.
Furnished, everything.
Yeah.
And so the first one we booked because it had a pool on the roof, and Levi really wanted to do that.
Yeah.
And we did that, but the kids didn't want to play in it because the water tasted weird or something. But anyways, the location ended up being great.
It was a great location.
And we picked that location because there is public transportation. We could walk to the train station. And the train station was really crazy to try and navigate through the Thai language,
yeah.
I would say.
But they did have English under it. You just had to know what it meant. And once you understood the map, they were very accommodating to get us in and out. And it would cost us about $1 a person to get to where we were trying to go. We weren't going too far away, so we would use that. But then if we needed to go a little further and we needed to maybe get our suitcases, and we would use a Grab taxi. And that's been a mixed bag of us climbing in on each other, or a big van that looks like it's specialized.
VIP.
Yes, VIP.
It's a VIP on
yes.
there.
I think it's like a party van, but during the day they just use it to get people around. It's quite comfortable.
Gold plates everywhere.
Yeah, and like reflective things everywhere. I'm just going to say that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and then the second place we rented was this one, and across the street is the dilapidated water park that we thought we were going to get to go to.
Yep.
But underneath that is a mall. And we have loved that there was a mall like a block away from our place.
And
so
it's
we could just
beautiful
get food
and
whenever
it's
we want to.
clean and it's brand new. It's like they're just remodeling this area. And it was, if you know what the Michelin Guide is, if you don't, just Google it real quick. But even in this mall, there are some Michelin Guide food places. So it's just been really cool to experience that. It has some tom yum soup. It's like a sour, spicy soup. It was good.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
One of the highlights of our trip is that we went to Mark Weins' restaurant.
Y'all. So this is one of my favorite YouTubers. He does what we're doing now with his family. It's a smaller family, but they travel the world and try different foods, experience culture through food. And he had a restaurant that he opened in Bangkok. His wife is Thai. And you know, I've done some things by some famous people and eaten their food and it's not been good. This, however, was an amazing experience. It was very good. There was a lot of people there. It was a little too spicy for some of our kids, but the quality of food was amazing. I loved mine. And that was a highlight for me personally.
And one of the things you said after he told me if I'm ever in Thailand or over in Bangkok, I have to go to his restaurant. And so we got a Grab taxi and we went over there. It was about 30 minutes away.
Yeah.
And then we got on a Grab taxi and came back, except for we got on the wrong Grab taxi.
On the wrong one. And then he had to let us off and then we had to wait for another one. It was a whole thing.
It was a thing. That's okay.
It was okay. But the kids, you know, it was a small restaurant and we waited to go inside and it was twice as expensive as eating street food, maybe even 3 times expensive, but it was still really cheap.
So let's talk about how much was it?
Okay, so it was about $30
for the whole family?
For the whole family.
Okay, and we got 6 meals.
And we got 6 meals. So that lets you know what that was. And then like our breakfast have been under $5 total. Our first day was like $2.50 total to feed everyone, and we've just really loved the street food for breakfast.
Then we end up getting, like this morning it was $6.
Yeah.
And that was kind of a lot, but the kids got
they got some like these little pastry donut things.
They got chicken and rice.
And then you got like
I got a
lemonade.
Drink, and I got an omelet.
Yeah. So food average, I'm gonna say it started off being about $1.50. I'm gonna say it's closer, a little over $2 a person, and
to eat out.
That's pretty amazing, and that's been really helpful for us getting through it. Taxis have been about what? Going back downtown from here has been what, about $15?
10, 15?
$10 to $15 depending upon where we're going.
A 30-minute drive?
Yeah, 30-minute drive.
Yeah.
So that's...
I don't know, you would know more than me because you're the one paying.
Right. But, and quick tip, if you're going on a taxi and you're getting onto the highway, it's mostly tolls. And so it's considered the responsibility of the people who are riding in the taxi to pay for the toll. It's not expensive. We're talking like $1 or $2.
To get through the tolls.
To get through the tolls.
Through 2 tolls.
Yeah. So you should just be aware of that, because if you don't know and they're like, why are they asking for more money? It's just the tolls, and that's just the way they do things. That was our 2 main ways of transportation.
Mm-hmm.
Transportation, food, accommodation.
The river and the palace.
Yeah. So the river was the most expensive thing that we did. I originally wanted to do a ferry that is a tourist ferry that you spend like $4.50 and you can get dropped off or picked up along the way. But you don't get a chance to go to the floating market, and you really are at the mercy of the ferry system. And you know, you got kids and it's 30 minutes between each one, and it would have taken a lot of time. And we got in contact with another guy who was like, hey, we'll take you through, it'll be a 2-hour trip. And it ended up being, it was the most expensive thing we did. It was about $20 a person to do it.
But it was our favorite thing.
It was our favorite thing, and they took care of us, and I got to help define what we did and where we got dropped off. And that was well worth it.
Boat all to ourselves.
It was just to ourselves.
It was like a private boat tour.
Yeah, so it's kind of like, you paid more, but you got more experience, more of a custom experience, which was really, really great. So I think we felt like it was worth the money.
And you would see all these houses along the river, and some would be like completely like falling over into the water. Some would be run down, and then some would be like really nice on the river. So it was a hit or miss, kind of like San Antonio sometimes.
That cost to get into the palace. It was 500 baht, so that would be like $12 a person to get in, but they didn't charge for the twins. So if you're a certain height
to get into the palace,
so twins didn't get charged. So I only had to pay for 4 of us to get in, and that was a nice perk because 5 minutes in, the twins are done.
And then everywhere you go in Bangkok, you're going to find a 7-Eleven. There is a 7-Eleven within walking distance anywhere. So you can pretty much count on it. And I guess they have an app too where you can, and they can deliver groceries to you if you wanted them to. But we have gone into several 7-Elevens to get snacks or to get us to the next thing, or even for dinner sometimes.
Yeah. Which, has been nice to have that convenience. It's a convenience store. Yeah. So, and it's been very reasonable. Like you get, let's say you wanted to get a Coca-Cola, you're spending about $1.
Yeah.
It's not been expensive at all. So.
And Bangkok is about 11 million people, almost 11 million people. And we were driving on the highways, and you could look 360 all the way around you, and it looked as if all of it was downtown area. So a lot of times, for example, in San Antonio, all of the big tall buildings are in one spot and they're in downtown, and you can look at it and you can look across the city and you can say, oh, that's downtown, there's where all the tall buildings. But in Bangkok, it's so huge. Everywhere you look all around you, and we've got a really good view from our hotel right now that I'm looking at, all the way around 360. You see all these tall buildings. It's like downtown just goes across the whole city.
Yeah, it's like a skyline that just keeps going and keeps going and keeps going. It's ridiculous. I've never been in a city this big. I've never been in New York City. So just that in and of itself has been a pretty cool experience. And the education for our kids has been crazy. Just learning about getting in a train and what a train is like, and people going to and from work, and street vendors, and they start to try to say the thank you or the hellos. How food is different, describing it, what they like, what they don't like, how to deal with their emotions being extra tired. There's a lot going on in their little minds right now, and we're trying to help navigate it ourselves.
They are dealing with their own baggage. And the twins have kind of struggled a little bit trying to, because their backpack's really heavy, and how it balances on the back of their suitcase. We've supported each other along the way, so we've definitely bonded over this week trying to get from place to place. We've done a lot of emotional regulation and talk throughs and family meetings just to help get ahead of any emotions that might happen, because we have been tired at times, at odd times, and actually hungry at odd times too. It's hard to tell. Like, we'll wake up and we're like super hungry already, and it's only 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning. And so those things can make your emotions kind of do things. You kind of get into survival mode. And so we've been talking through a lot of those things and how you deal with things like that. But that is our first 6 days in Thailand, in Bangkok.
And we felt safe the whole time.
Yeah, it was totally fine. And we expected to feel safe the whole time because we knew enough about it. And then today we were gonna take a train, but we're not gonna take a train.
I made a change because just trying to be practical, getting our suitcases and everything to the next place.
We're just gonna get a van.
We got a van coming, and we're gonna take the van to the next place, about 3 hours away.
Yes. And we'll get to see the beach tonight, and our condo there has swimming pools everywhere. And the kids are really looking forward to that. And I'm looking forward to, me and Levi are looking forward to getting some groceries just to have snacks around the house and stuff like that. But anyways, really wanted to get this video out because we're going to have so much more to talk about again. And we also want to do videos about some of the things we talked about on this video that we didn't get to as far as detail wise. But anyways, thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you on the next video. We'll be in Hua Hin and we'll tell you all about it.
See you later.